Hi, everybody. I'm Dina Proctor, creator of 3x3 Meditation and author of Madly Chasing Peace. I recently put forward that I was willing to answer some questions, and there are some questions that I feel going from client to client and group to group that come up quite frequently. And one of the ones that has been coming up a lot lately is feeling like a failure when you feel negative emotion. And I'll tell you, because I consider myself kind of living in that space of being able to point my mind towards something that I want to create in my physical reality and being good at that and being able to experience healing and transformation in my body and in my relationships and different aspects of my life. And when I feel negative emotion and I feel like I get a little bit stuck, I understand where that question comes from, because it feels like, I teach this stuff. I help people with this stuff. And here I am kind of failing at it, feeling like I'm failing at it. And a lot of other people that I work with and that I have met feel the same way a lot of the times. It feels like I have this negative emotion, and so that must mean that I'm failing at what I'm supposed to be doing. Or you have that feeling of, oh my gosh, I feel like I left this behind. I thought I solved this years ago or months ago or weeks ago. I thought I was over this. I thought I was past this. Why is this coming back up for me? So having that frustration with that negative emotion. But what we need to remember, we have to kind of back up into the greater perspective and the grand scheme of things and remember what negative emotion is really all about. It's really an indicator, okay? So a lot of people and a lot of spiritual teachers talk about the emotional guidance system. So using our emotions to guide us step by step, little by little, towards where we want to be. The better the emotion feels, as we feel more and more spaciousness around feeling stuck or more relief, that's indicating that we are headed in the right direction. We're headed towards what we want to experience, not only in our kind of inner or emotional world, but also in our physical world. So what does it mean, or how do we kind of let go of that place of being mad at ourselves because it feels like we're feeling these negative emotions on and off, or feels like we should be past this by now? Well, the way I kind of analogize it is using emotions like indicators that we have in our physical body. So for example, when we feel hungry, okay, I've been eating 3 meals a day for decades, right? So every day, 3 meals a day, and my body indicates to me, I know what thirst feels like and I know what hunger feels like. It's an indicator that I need to do something to nourish my physical body. If I'm feeling thirsty, okay, I need to get water to nourish my physical body. It's not an indicator that, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. I've been drinking water and eating food for years and years and decades, and yet I still feel thirsty sometimes, we don't look at hunger or thirst like a big, huge failure. We don't think, my gosh, I've been doing this all my life and I'm still feeling this way. Like, why am I failing at this? It's not that we're supposed to preempt hunger or, kind of keep it away by eating before we feel like we need to eat so that we never feel hungry, because feeling hunger or feeling thirst is not a failure. It's just an indicator that we need to take a step to be able to nourish our physical body. When we feel tired, that's not a failure. That's an indicator that we need to take time to rest our body and our muscles to be able to rejuvenate ourselves. And it's the same thing with negative emotion. So when we're feeling negative emotion, it's not a big failure. Why am I feeling this way? I thought I've solved this problem years ago or months ago. It's not about that at all. It's about saying, in this moment, there's a step I need to take that will help me nourish my emotional, spiritual self. And doing something like, I'm a huge advocate of meditation, is a big step to be able to feel a bit of space around whatever you're struggling with, a bit of relief inside of yourself, a step in the right direction towards feeling better. Because the better you feel, the more you are pointed in the direction of where you want to be and what you want to be creating in your life. So your thoughts always have an emotion connected to them, And so if you find yourself feeling that negative emotion, it's usually indicating that your thoughts are not on the par of where you want to be creating in your life. And so when you can just take that, not as a failure indicator, but just as an indicator of, I need to plug in here. My inner power cord is falling out a little bit and I need to recenter and regroup. And so when you can take it a little less seriously, like hunger, you don't take it that seriously or make it mean something heavy about yourself that you're this failure, right? So when you can just take it like the neutral indicator that it is and act as it's indicating you to act. Like a negative emotion gets worse when we don't honor it. It's the same thing with hunger. When we first feel a hunger pang, it's kind of, it's light, it's neutral, it's just indicating like be a good idea to eat soon. But if we ignore it and a few more hours goes by, we start to get really hungry. And then we get that, it ties into our emotion and we find ourselves irritable. Whereas if we just feel that light indication, that hunger pang, and we honor it right away, we can prevent ourselves from going into that, kind of depth of the, that hangriness, right? Like the hunger, anger thing. So it's the same thing with feeling negative emotion. Always starts lighter before it gets worse and heavier. So when you can recognize it when it's still kind of mild, just something mild, and realize like, okay, it's indicating to me something here. You can learn how to preempt it and get yourself back to center, kind of back on track a little more quickly. And this way you don't veer so far off course. You can kind of correct it as you go a little bit off course. So negative emotion, not a failure, just an indicator in the moment. And when you can take it less seriously and take the, that action step, that meditation or whatever it is for you that regrounds yourself inside, you're going to notice that you're able to catch it a lot more quickly and when it's mild, and so it doesn't tend to get as exaggerated or as heavy negative as it may be for you right now. So I hope that was helpful. It is fun for me to be able to give a little bit of insight, and I hope that it's contributing to your life. So thank you for joining me here, and I will have more again for you soon.